Phil.
Dan, we're here at Vic's, mate. So
We are, mate, and he's got a HZ GDS replica here for us to check out. Let's have a look at that.
let's go.
Today's video is proudly brought to us by Optics, Nanotechnologies and Red Hot Internet Solutions.
G'day, Vic. How are you?
Okay, Dan, nice to meet you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, you too. Yeah, good.
Bud.
Phil, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
It's good.
All right, mate. Well, show us your ride.
Okay.
So, Vic, mate, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, mate. Well, I found it about just over 4 years ago. It was basically for a full restoration. It is a replica, but we basically had a look at it, and I thought it was a good opportunity to get into a car that I wanted to and actually explore it, make sure everything's all fine with it. You know, these days you buy cars on the net and everything else. You don't know whether the paint job's been good or whatever it may be, rust or anything else.
So, how long ago was it that you picked it up?
It was 2019.
So it's rather new to your family then.
It is.
So what kind of condition was it in when it first when you first got it?
Well, basically it was all there. Everything was there. There was a little bit of rust on it, not much to be honest. It's just one of the door panels that needed to get, one of the doors needed to get changed on it. Basically everything else is pretty all right on it. The interior, more or less a clean up, everything was there.
We know that Joe had his hands on this, don't we?
He did.
Yeah.
That's how I actually bought it off.
Did you buy it off him then restore it, or did he restore it and then?
What happened was I bought it off him. He agreed to, basically put it together for us as long as I got all the parts for it. So I was a bit of a go for getting all the bits and pieces for it because I didn't have the room to put it in there to do it myself. I would have loved to, but unfortunately there's limited access in there with all the cars that are sitting out the front here as well. We just worked together with him. I've seen his cars previously and they're magnificent the way he's done them up. So that was the deal we had, and we just worked through it, paint shop, everything else, and just took it back to his place and started going from then onwards.
So who did the paint work for you on this one?
It was Distort Paint and Panel.
Distort it? Yeah, I know. I know. Jaden, is it?
Jaden, yeah. He did a very good job.
Yeah, no, it looks very, very straight. You had the original wheels. Did you have to have them fixed up, restored, or anything like
Well,
that?
basically, I had hot wires on it previously on it, so they came off, and obviously wanted to get the GDS rims on there. So I just bought them, searched around for a fair bit. They were sandblasted, and then we just put them back together and went off from there.
Were they hard to find?
Yeah, they were a little bit, but back then it wasn't too bad.
And I noticed you've got the GDS spoiler and everything on there. So you've mentioned this is a replica.
Correct.
So you would have had to have sourced all that stuff as well, didn't you?
No, I got it as it was from Joe, and with the spoilers, everything was complete. The 1978s, all the GDSs that came out, the HZs did actually come out with the colour-coded bumpers. It was an option
Oh, did they?
to put on, the chrome with it, but I tried to keep it as original as I could with it.
Well, there you go. I've learned something today, guys. I didn't actually realise that.
Pretty much everything that you see in here is what was basically in the car.
So the chrome trims, because they're in excellent condition. So
Got them all redone.
You had them all ready.
All redone. Everything had to get redone. I wanted to try and keep it, well, you can get replacements obviously, but there's nowhere, the parts that are basically out there aren't as good as what's on the vehicle from the first off.
Yeah, if you want to use original parts where you can.
Correct.
100%.
Even the grille. I mean, I kept the grille and made sure the chrome work was all done, get all the little holes taken out of it. And otherwise, the ones you get today, they're pretty much plastic now. So they look okay, but after about 6 months, 12 months, they're just not there.
Oh, so is there much to do with them? Were they dented up, or did you have
There
to
was a
send
few,
them away,
I had to get them sent away. A guy in Wanneroo actually done them up for us.
So you got it locally then?
Yeah, correct, yeah. So got everything, all the chrome work was just basically done by him. So I took everything off and made sure every dent was taken out of it. And brought it back to original.
What colour is it? What's the actual colour? Is this a factory colour, this one?
It is. It's called Flamingo Red. Originally didn't come, the car wasn't in Flamingo Red, it was in Atlantis Blue, I believe. But I've always wanted to have a red one, so I thought, well, now's the opportunity while it's all getting restored, paint it the colour you like. I think they ran them out in 1979 was the last ones when they started converting over to the Commodores. So there was a bit of a mix in interiors and all that with the last of these ones. So you could get whatever you want. I think they had the tartan trim in these originally, but you could have the option, which is this one's got one of them in there, the 63X trim. So it's got the cloth and the vinyl on it. So yeah, it's come up reasonably well.
So how long did it take, the whole process of when you got it to when you turned the key and went for a cruise on a Sunday?
Okay. Well, it was basically 2 years from putting it into the paint shop, getting it back over to Joe's and restoring it, putting it all back together again. So yeah, it's probably about 2 years ago I've been driving around now, so it hasn't been too bad. So getting a bit of a thrill out of it and enjoying it.
So I think we've covered the outside, so I think we should go and pop the bonnet there and have a look and see what's under the bonnet.
No worries.
All right, Vic, so what size engine have we got in here, mate?
Oh, mate, it's only the baby 253 in there. I tried to just keep it as standard as I could. That's how it came out with at that particular time, although it's not the original motor. that's been in it from the beginning, but it is a 253 high compression.
What was the original motor then?
Oh, it was obviously a QT in the graphics side of things as the serial numbers, but it was still a 253 motor in there.
So I've noticed you've got all the air conditioning on here.
It's factory air conditioning, factory power steering. It's got a 4-barrel quad jet carby on it, which is probably a little bit different on it for a 253, but yeah, she's got a bit of punch to it, so it's not too bad.
Oh, that's good. With the 253s, you had to do a little bit to them, didn't you?
That's right. But as I said, I just wanted to keep it as stock as what it came out with. And basically it was registered as a V8, and that's what it came out with, and that's why I kept it the same as it has been now.
Did you have to go through the engine at all, like pull it down, rebuild, anything like that?
No, mate, no, nothing at all. So I was quite surprised. I got to check the compression on it and everything else through it. It was pretty much perfect, apart from your water pumps, your alternators and things like that need to get changed.
Well, that's good, isn't it, when you don't have to worry about going into the engine? That certainly saves you a bit, doesn't it?
The last thing I had to do was the fuel pump was just leaking slightly, and I can't stand having leaks. So got that redone, and that's pretty much it. It's got a bit of punch to it. It's probably not like a 308, but it gets out there, and as I said before, it's only a cruiser.
I'm sure it makes all the right noises.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
It looks very, very tidy in here. It's very neat. Yeah. No, so Joe's done a great job.
If I had another one to get done, he'd be the man to do it.
We're giving Joe a fair big pat on the back here,
Yes, yeah, definitely. No.
So you love getting out on the Sunday mornings, I assume, that sort of thing?
Yeah, if the weather permits, yeah, mate. Look, you've got to use them. That's the way I look at it. There's no point in sitting in the garage and just starting it up and moving it backwards and forwards. If you're careful enough with it, you just basically use it as not a daily driver, but a weekender when you can. Simple as that. It's real satisfaction driving it, and when you get home, it's you've had that real fix with it. And I've had guys at the service station. I had an elderly gentleman probably a couple of weeks ago, and he's looking it over, and I says, "You're right." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, he had a tear in his eye. And he goes, "I had one of these brand new," and he goes, "It's absolutely magnificent." And I said, "Thank you." But it's just, if you can, even kids these days, I think they've turned around and they're starting to see that the muscle cars are a really good-looking vehicle. It's sure, the new ones are great. There's not an issue with it, but you can't beat these things.
No, that's for sure. And we need to get the young kids involved.
That's exactly right.
So that these have got some hands to go into when we're finished with them.
That's exactly right. That's very, very true.
Okay, let's go and check out the trim in this thing. All right, so everything looks very original in here, Vic.
It is, Dan, yeah. All the seats are original.
Yep.
Basically, all that needed to get done to them was get cleaned up. They were a bit dirty. And just on the back seat, the vinyl at the back was all faded, obviously from the sun, bit of a cracking and all that through there, so that got replaced. Door cards all been redone. Door handles, the armrests and everything else all been redone as well. Headlining, pretty much every seal and everything else has been redone to it as well.
Yeah, nice. Now, I know you can get the replacement vinyl for these.
You can.
So doing your door trims and your hood lining and stuff wouldn't have been too much of a problem, but the fabric on these seats is in immaculate condition, and I'm pretty sure you can't buy this stuff anymore.
No, correct, you can't. No, that's right. It's very, very difficult to get.
So it's very unique that you've still got it in there. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and the fact that it's cleaned up so well must have been very well looked after, this car, to start with. So
it wasn't too bad. Yeah, correct. Yeah, as I said, it's pretty much all complete. The seats were dirty, but it weren't. There was a few cigarette burns in it, but we got those things sort of replaced. It wasn't too bad on that side of things. You couldn't see it. I mean, this was the driver's seat. We moved it over here, so obviously you get a better wear on it, and you got a bit more cushioning in there. But the cushions, everything, all the framework was perfect on them.
Now, GDS dash. So that would have been, you would have had to source that, or was that again in here with everything else? Yeah.
The car. The only thing that was in there was it had the wood grain insert, which I changed over to the black. Being a Premier, a lot of them did come out afterwards with certain trim, and obviously the GDS dash in it. So yeah, I was basically lucky enough to get that through it and go from there. It's just change the actual insert there, and that's basically it.
So I wonder if this car was ordered from the factory this way, or whether it was just made up with the stuff that they were trying to use up.
Couldn't tell you, mate.
It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
I guess we could jump onto the Holden Historical Society, and they have a lot of that information available there, don't they?
Correct, they do, yeah. I think there's a small charge for it to get all that information, but I think they dig it back from day one when the car was manufactured right through to basically now. Even the radio, I sourced that, I got that from Queensland. Guy in Perth stripped the guts out of it and put it with Bluetooth and AM FM through it. So
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you've got all the technology in there, and it's basically looks like a standard radio.
Does it still work as an old wireless as well?
Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So, but you can Bluetooth your phone straight to it?
Correct, that's exactly right.
I might have to get that dude's number.
Yeah, no, he's very good. He's a good bloke, yeah.
That's a great feature to have. And the console and everything looks like it's immaculate as well. So
I had a bit play around with that one there, but we finally got it back to normal the way it was, because it had a few holes in it, because he had speakers and everything else through it. So, yeah, it was just a matter of getting it redone.
So you fixed the one up that you had, did you?
That's the original one, correct.
Perfect. All right, so last place, let's have a look in the boot.
Oops. There you go.
So just pretty basic in here.
Yeah. I opted for the carpet. I just prefer the carpet version on it. Originally they came with the rubber,
Yeah.
but you still get that smell of the rubber through there. I prefer the carpet look, and it sort of keeps that noise, cushions it a little bit better as well.
Yeah, I find the same thing. A little bit softer, a little bit more noise deadening.
And you've got your tool kit there for your jack and everything else. It's original, so everything's all been done on those. So yeah, a bit of painting and cleaning it up, and off you went from there.
So I'm loving the dual exhaust tips hanging out here.
Yeah.
That's very 80s.
Yes, it is. Yeah, with the chrome extensions on it. Yeah, definitely.
So what size of exhaust have you got running through it?
It's only a 2-inch. Yeah. Basically, getting older, you don't really want that real loud noise getting out there, and I still get complaints as it is from the neighbours when I start up early in the morning. So any louder, I think we'd be in trouble.
Well, speaking of which, I think it's about time we went for a cruise. See how she goes.
No worries.
Very smooth, isn't it?
It is, mate. I've had the gearbox all done too, so
Oh yeah, so what sort of
Yeah.
gearbox is behind it?
it's just a Trimatic, mate. I just got it to original, but he's just stretched the gears out a little bit,
Yeah.
so you get that little bit more of a... So I love it.
Yeah.
It just feels good. You had a shit day, you jump in it. Not that you thrash or anything, but you just get out and just do what you have to do.
No, this is a lovely drive, mate. This is
Yeah, it drives nice.
it's
not,
smooth, it's
yeah.
comfortable, it's not too noisy like you say.
No.
Yeah.
It's got that rumble, but just enough.
All right, Vic, thanks so much for having us out, mate, and showing us your amazing car. It's a beautiful car, cruises fantastically, and thanks so much for showing us your ride.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.